you talked at the beginning about, when we put emotional intelligence as a quality that we want a leader to have on a job description or on a job posting, right? We say have emotional intelligence. I'm really curious because I spend so much of my time really digging into the details of EQ and a more granular level and the specific skills. It's sometimes hard for me to zoom out a little bit when I see, EQ is sexy, right? Everybody knows we need it. It's like it's been a hot topic for a number of years now. It's all over the place.
I guess it is. It's sexy. It's
right.
It's a charm. It is
right.
a charm factor that you can have. Yeah.
It is. And it's like, Harvard Business Review says you need emotional intelligence. Like it's just, I think it's out there in our common collective knowledge that like you need EQ to be a good leader. But when we simplify it to the point that we say on a job description, emotional intelligence, what do you think? Like, what does that mean to people who don't necessarily have like a deep dive on EQ? Like, what are the specific qualities or specific behaviors that you think people mean when they say EQ?
When someone, emotional intelligence, the way that I see it is, one, understanding where I am in the scenario and my response to that scenario and why I'm having the response to that scenario. And that means being able to cognitively go back to, one, see why my response is the way it is. Is it a response of anger or frustration, and why that is? And if I were to say, okay, this is one side of emotional intelligence. If I can separate out the emotion and just look to what is the factual thing here that I don't know, I don't know, whatever scenario they could be. If I could take the emotion out of it and just see the logic in it and take away all my emotion in it and just see the logic and the perspective of that individual story. And I can say, then I see that empathy comes in that point, that I can clear the way for empathy to then move in and say, oh, I can see your perspective. In our differences, I have put my emotion and my ego aside to have the intelligence to meet you where you are and have that conversation. Now, the other side of the emotional intelligence is being able to see if somebody is responding to me, that they're not necessarily going, in that sense, attacking me. They're trying to express something to me that maybe they're expressing to me that there's a hurt there, there's a pain there, there's a trauma there, and that I need to realize, like, how am I going to now respond to this individual? Because if I can take a higher hold myself at a higher accountability and understand higher self, like they're not hurting me. They're not attacking me. They don't know me. And I can start again, separating my emotion. Like, this is how I need to receive what I'm hearing from them. There's a hurt there. There's a pain there. And I don't know if I can't, there is no way that I can put it in one definition for me, because I can't. But I can know how I approach a situation and settle into it with that emotional intelligence. So I have the piece where I hold myself accountable, and then I have the piece where I hold my action accountable. And that's like, how am I really listening here to them and taking me out of the equation and just hear them in this? How do I just hear them in this and hear their pain? And then in the middle, deconstruct, where's the pain point? Can we get to a pain point here of that to work out the issue? And I think the emotional intelligence piece for me is how we declutter the emotion from it and see where the actual crux of the issue is.
Yeah.
That's what I would say it is for me.
So that's so beautiful. I mean, I love the process that you just walked us through, because I think, I mean, that is such a beautiful example of how we can use emotional intelligence real time in what is happening every single day, right? And every day that you go to work or get out of bed, some days that you don't even get out of bed, you're going through that emotional process, right? There's some situation that is going to raise some kind of feelings for you. And so I heard you name a bunch of different things.
All right.
I heard you say, I need to understand where I am in the scenario.
This is fun.
What I'm feeling,
Okay.
right? So that's emotional self-awareness, right? I need to have awareness of my own emotions and need to be able to name them and understand, like, ooh, this feeling that I'm having, what is that feeling? Where's that coming from? Oh, I'm feeling scared. I'm feeling threatened. I'm feeling frustrated. And then I heard you say, and then I want to be able to back up and say, okay, what is the factual thing? I want to get logical. I want to look at, maybe I've just run up that ladder and I've done a lot of interpretation, which has led to my feelings. So what are the facts? Let me back up a little bit. We call that reality testing, right? Our ability to test our emotional response against reality and bring in that logical side so that we can kind of understand even better, where is my emotional reaction coming from? And then I heard you reference empathy, and I heard you talk about, I need to understand how other people are going to express themselves to me, what other people are bringing to me. And so empathy really is our ability to read and understand other people's emotions, right? And to not to sympathize, not to say, oh, poor you, but to be able to say, I can see how you'd feel that way. Even if I don't feel that way, even if I don't think it's right that you feel that way, I'm detaching from that. I can see how you could feel that way. And then I heard you ask some great questions about, how am I going to respond to this person, right? I'm feeling really frustrated, and I've seen the reality of, I've kind of evaluated, I've done my reality testing. I've heard from this other person about how they're feeling, and now I need to make a choice about how to express myself. And so we've got emotional expression. So we've gone through this whole emotional process, which beautiful. And I think you're right. I think that kind of stuff is a lot of what we mean. We've talked about emotional self-awareness, reality testing, empathy, emotional expression.